How to protect yourself from Joe Biden's tax plan. What up? You got Mr. Smith, 0.5 of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And in this brief video, I want to talk about the projected president-elect Joe Biden and how to protect yourself from the tax plan that, many people are talking about. Now, first of all, how do I want to start this off? First of all, as it relates to the tax plan that's being laid out, a lot of people don't necessarily fall in the tax bracket that was being mentioned. However, it still can have a trickle-down effect in other ways. So it's definitely going to be important to understand tax laws. But before I get into that, I want to talk about the president, projected president-elect Joe Biden. This is kind of more so a hypothetical video. You might have clicked on it, but it's more hypothetical due to the fact that it may be a chance that he's not even going to be in office. We shall see. Only time will tell. And the reason why I say it may be a chance that he may not be in office is because if you look at the facts and if you look at how stuff is supposed to operate, he probably didn't really win. And if you look at the fact that it was a projected winner, projected doesn't mean it's definite. And then it's still the electoral college things that have to go on. And then it's a lot of fraud that took place. I even saw proof videos of dead people voting for Joe Biden. So I don't know what kind of trickery was going on, but dead people voted for Joe Biden and multiple people voted for Joe Biden. Like people voted more than once. There's a lot of fraud that went on to where Trump was actually legit supposed to win. I don't know how that makes you feel in terms of things, depending on where you sit, but do your research. If that makes you mad, do your research, because I promise you everything ain't what it seems in terms of how both people are being portrayed. So how you view Joe Biden might not be what you think. How you view Trump definitely not be what you think, because it's a lot of stuff that has been put out that isn't factual about Trump, and that's me just being 100. So with that being said, how to protect yourself from any tax bill, not just Joe Biden's tax bill, I just called it that just because people are talking about that, is understanding the tax law and who the tax law is positioned to favor. The tax law is positioned to favor those who understand the tax law. People who are producers of the economy, or those who put their money in vehicles that are a real fabric of the economy. So what do I mean? Really two different types of tax laws. You got tax laws for those who are business owners, and those tax laws for those who are just workers. You want to position yourself to be an owner of some kind, even if you work as well, because nothing is wrong with working a job. Don't let anybody tell you that, but you just want to use it strategically to still meet your needs or hit your demands or desires or leave a legacy, build wealth, whatever you aspire to do. Now, by being an owner, that can be a business, or they can be investing. And by business, that also includes real estate, network marketing and the whole 9 yards. But that also means being an owner and shareholder in certain businesses. So that's investing, because when you invest, the money that's earned on investments can tend to be lower. And it depends on the vehicle, because I did see something about the capital gains tax going up, things of that nature. But it depends on the investment vehicle. You can minimize your taxes drastically. And it's highly unlikely for those two things to be moved off the table, because small businesses and business owners are a huge part of the economy as it relates to making it stay afloat and just being the innovators of what tomorrow happens to be. It all starts with people who initially might have been a small business, but grew it into something massive, all because of the tax laws benefiting them, and that kept them moving, and they were able to reinvest and benefit from the tax laws, or just the simple fact that they had the ingenuity to push through and become a big brand. And with the investing side of things, when you're investing, you're putting your money in the areas of the companies who have proven themselves to be reputable to some degree. So now it's a win-win-win. So if you're not investing, you're not even on the road to being wealthy. And if you're not a business owner of some kind, I strongly recommend it a consideration, because many people jump into business just to dabble. And if they don't make money off of it right away, or if they don't get $1 million paycheck next month, then they quit. but you're doing yourself a disservice. Pick a business that you feel that you can be committed to, that you can stick to, even if you get tired. See, we chose economic empowerment and wealth building because that's something we knew we wanted to pursue, period. So since we knew we wanted to pursue that period, then it only made sense to make a business out of it, because even if we felt like we didn't want to do videos, create content, train people, educate people, and do all of those things, we still knew we wanted to be making advancements towards building wealth. And if that's the case, then what you have to understand is, if we're striving to do those things, then that automatically motivates us to economically empower someone else. So pick a business that you know you're going to be able to stick with. Here's why. Because if you do find yourself slowing up in certain areas, then even though you may have had a couple of hiccups, you still are operating your business in some way, shape, form, fashion, which positions you to minimize your taxes, because businesses allow for you to have over 400 different tax deductions. You don't really need all of those, nowhere near it. In order to be effective, you can really have a strong 12 and be dangerous because of the tax laws of what you're already spending money on. Could be potentially enough to lower your tax liability and position you to be dominant no matter who's in office, no matter what the president is. And even if it's Joe Biden and his tax laws scare you, definitely benefit from being a business owner and or an investor so that your money can be taxed totally different. You want to get with your financial professional. This is just me to kind of enlighten you and say, hey, it's always a solution. You see, when you're entrepreneur minded or even just a thinker, you always find out, okay, this is what's going on. How can I maneuver and get a different way? It's always a different route. It's never just one street that leads to your destination. You have highways, you have side roads, you have back roads, you have old highways that used to be the main thing before freeways took effect. So all of these things are the same when it relates to new scenarios that we're faced with. It's always a way around it. You just have to figure it out, pivot, navigate in order to make it benefit you and your family. So if you're interested in something that can help you minimize your tax liability, no matter who's in office, click that link below. Visit makeweeklymoney.com, makeweeklymoney.com, so you can capitalize on the capitalistic society that we're currently living in, which allows people to be all they can be. But if we're not careful, we can lose that capitalism, which has benefited many and has the ability to benefit you. So we have to be aware of what's going on outside of just our, what we see on TV. So always do your double checking, and that's kind of off the record of what this video is about, but always do your due diligence and look and dig and understand what's going on before you speak on it or get emotionally attached to any candidate, any politic, or anything that I'm even saying. Do your own due diligence. But to wrap this video up, if you want to benefit and lower your tax liability, always get yourself a business and be an investor. Visit the site below, and I hope to hear from you until the next videos. Mr. Smith signing out.